Giannini was born in Stockton, California, and grew up in Saratoga with her parents and two brothers. She attended St. Francis High School, where she played swimming, soccer, and track before earning a degree in sociology with a business minor from Loyola Marymount University. After a year of traveling the world, she completed her teaching credential at San Francisco State University and taught elementary school for several years. In 2002, she had her daughter, Morgan, and eventually joined her family business, Saratoga Springs, which she now co-owns and operates with her brother. Mimi enjoys skiing, traveling, and spending time with her family. And we're so excited that she's joining us today on this next episode of Mountain Climbers, presented by Life Services Alternatives. Again, I'm your host, Hadia Fain, and I'm happy to be with you. And here we have Mimi. Hi, Mimi, and welcome.
Hello, Hadia. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's good to have you here.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I am always in awe on how you show up in your executive presence. I had no clue that you had so many skills, abilities, and even interest in, well, a lot of physical activities.
Yes.
Just before we started rolling, you were telling me a little bit about your ability of hiking, and it seems to be an ongoing theme here on this show that most of the people we've had on have had that ability. Although not everybody we're going to have on the show this season has those type of abilities. You said that you enjoyed hiking. Can we just rewind that back a little bit and you talk to us about the most beautiful place you've ever hiked?
Sure. Well, I do love hiking. I love being outdoors and in nature, and it just makes me feel peaceful. And I've hiked a lot of beautiful places. Some of the most beautiful places I would say would be in Nepal when we did the Himalayan trek.
Yes. And you informed me that it is not pink.
It's not pink.
Okay.
No,
okay.
It was a lot of uphill and a lot of treacherous hiking, but it was beautiful, and we made it to, it was the Annapurna trek that we had did. And it was gorgeous. We met a lot of nice people from around the world and
on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that you were telling me when you were saying that there's a lot of preparation that goes into hiking, and you want to just list off a couple of them?
Well, you just gotta make sure you're in relatively good shape so you can make it up the mountain.
Yeah, for sure.
Comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
That are already worn in, so you're not getting blisters, and the right pack and lots of water.
Lots of preparation. You're not one of those women that when you turn around, everybody else is muddy and sweaty, and you're just a light glisten and your hair is pulled together, are you?
Well, probably.
Okay, all right.
Maybe not, but maybe. You never know. Sometimes.
What is the most common misconception that people have about you?
I would think some people might think that I have everything together, but I don't. I have my own insecurities and my own struggles, and I hold that in sometimes. But from the outside, I appear happy and have things together, have a great family, and I have a great job, and I do have all those things which are amazing and wonderful, and I also have some struggles that I deal with.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what would make you want to come on a show like this and talk about those things?
Well, I love Life Services Alternatives, and I'm so happy to be a part of it, and so if they ask, I say yes.
Yes, okay. All right. I think that some of the things that we talk about here on Mountain Climbers, because of Life Services Alternatives network breadth of individuals, they're really transparent looks at individuals, at their journeys, regardless of their ability and their walks of life. Right now, you seem to be on top of the mountain, and we want to know a lot about what that looks like, what that tastes like. But before we do, I think we should probably start at the base.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest, some people start at the base of a mountain, some people start in a valley. And so, can you describe a valley moment where you're kind of underneath the earth at this point in your life? And take us back to maybe a not so pulled together moment for you.
Yes. So, I mean, I think one of my hardest moments in life was when I found out that my daughter was developmentally disabled, and that was crushing. And she was born a typical healthy baby. She was 10 out of 10 on her APCAR score. She was healthy. She was a beautiful baby. She was a good baby, you know, everything was great. And then when she was about 18 months old, my aunt, who was helping me take care of her, my mom, and I had a lot of help, which was great. But they noticed that she wasn't responding like the other kids had been, or she wasn't babbling like the other kids. And Morgan is my one and only child, so I had nothing to compare it to. So I was shocked, you know. I was like, oh well, okay, let's go do some testing or some speech therapy or whatever we need to do, you know. And we did that. We went to a little special ed preschool, and then when Morgan was, I think, 4 or 5 years old, the school that we were in recommended she do testing, and so we did a bunch of testing, and then they called me and her dad into a meeting, and there were, you know, 8 doctors around this big round table, and we came in thinking they were going to say, oh, your daughter has a speech delay, let's get her speech therapy. But that's not what happened. They said, your daughter's mentally retarded, and that was the term they used in 2006. And she's never going to typically develop. She's never going to live independently. She's never going to read. She's never going to write. She's never going to have a typical life. And that was heartbreaking and crushing. And it was probably one of, I think, the hardest moment in my life to hear that.
Yeah.
So,
if you could go back again, is there any delivery that would have made it a little less intimidating?
It was very harsh the way that they delivered it, but I don't think there is really a good way to deliver that news. So, you know, her dad and I walked out and just flabbergasted and shocked and sad. You know, we didn't know, we were not expecting that at all. So it was just a very big shock to us.
What does one do? What are the steps that you take forward after that?
Well, I think first was grieving, you know, being sad and crying, and, you know, talking to my parents and talking to our families, and oh, what are we going to do? And then it was, you know, after grieving, it was like, okay, well, this is our situation. Now let's go figure it out. Let's do everything we can to help our daughter and to help give her the life that she deserves and we want her to have.
So just now you used a very big word, and I think in some circles it's a bad word. Take me through what grief meant for you.
Grief was being shocked about the news, and just being so sad, and
allowing yourself to feel.
Allowing myself to feel sad, and giving myself grace to stay in bed or cry or call my friends and cry or call my mom and cry, or, just being sad about it, really.
I think that there's, especially now, there seems to be people who want to put timestamps on grief, or they want you to go through your grief in a certain way, at a certain time. And to me, what I hear you saying is that you didn't put any limits on yourself. Do you think that helped when you took your next steps for your daughter?
There's been grieving every step of the way.
Wow.
So it was grieving, at age 4 when we first got the diagnosis. There was grieving when, she couldn't be on the soccer team, or she wasn't invited to the birthday party, or she didn't go to prom, or every step of the way, every milestone, when she wasn't walking when she was 1 but the other kids were, or there's still grief today. Like every step of the way brings a little bit of grief here and there at certain points.
Do you think Morgan has found the right family?
100%.
Why?
Because she has so many people that love her, and I love her with all my heart. She's absolutely everything to me. Her dad loves her. Her entire family loves her, and she's been a blessing in our lives. And she's taught us so much about what life really means. It's like when they said, your daughter's never going to read or write. I thought, well, how can, she can't read or write. That's going to be a problem. And now it doesn't mean anything. She doesn't need to read. She doesn't need to write. She can love and she can laugh. And she's the happiest girl in the world. I mean, she is so sweet and kind. And, all the things that I was grieving, she wasn't grieving. I was grieving that she didn't get invited to the kid's birthday party, or she couldn't go to the birthday party. I think I was grieving more than my daughter was grieving. She's always been happy. She's never been, I don't think she has grieved about the person she is.
Yeah. And Morgan's going to come on here. And so we're looking forward to that.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit more about your journey now supporting Morgan. I know it's changed over the years. That was the valley. When did it start changing your level of support for Morgan? When was there a light under the tunnel when she started getting more independence? How did you learn to let go?
I'm still learning.
Okay.
It's been a journey. She's 23, so it's been 23 years of a journey. Literally up until 22, when we found LSA.
Yes.
I feel that Morgan is safe. She has a place to go. She has a purpose. She has friends. She loves being picked up in the van and riding shotgun and singing songs with her friends.
She made the news. I forgot. She made the news. She made the Mercury News. There's a picture. We should pop that in if you can.
Yeah. So she's so happy and she's independent. And literally up until, so when you're 22, you graduate from the public school system.
Sure.
And I was so worried what's going to happen with Morgan when she turns 22. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? What's going to happen? And then we found LSA, and it literally answered our prayers, because it gave her a place to go. It gave her a safe place. It gave her responsibility, all the things that any person wants.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a job. Everyone wants friends. Everybody needs a purpose.
Yeah.
And so this, literally right now, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And I feel like I'm on top of the mountain right now. Like, it was a struggle getting up that mountain, and there were really steep parts of that climb, and there were, boulders that we had to climb over, and but really just it's taken this long to get to this happy place where we both are right now and the family.
And so I have to ask, because I know that there was a moment that was a turning point for you at LSA, and I wish that we could provide that for everyone. Trying to expand capacity as much as possible, but how did you know you had found the right place?
Well, I was nervous starting the program, and again, I was nervous. Morgan was not so nervous. She's the brave one. She's the one who is like, let's go, we're doing it, And I remember her first day getting picked up in the van going off. I was crying. She was laughing. She was happy. She's like, bye, Mom. See you later.
Oh,
and,
wow.
there I am, ah, crying. But, and then it just, as time went on, it feels just more comfortable. And I've, get to know the staff and the people of LSA and the other clients. And now I feel so comfortable.
Yeah. What would you, if you could give yourself, your younger self, some advice, what would you tell that younger version of yourself?
I would tell myself that it's going to be okay, and try your hardest not to worry about the future, because you can't control the future. Each step of the way, it was like elementary school. Oh, now we're going to go to junior high. Oh, that's going to be tough. And then high school. Oh, wow, that's going to be what's going to happen in high school. Just don't worry so much about the next step, because it will fall into place. And also, I would say to give myself grace and to give myself time to mourn. Give my mom and my family, they were always, let me take care of Morgan, let me do it. You go take a nap, you go take a shower, go rest, go spend some time with your friends. And I always kind of felt guilty about leaving, or I was scared to leave. I didn't want to leave, But you need time to take care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Yeah. So having trusted people around that can take that burden, not your daughter being a burden,
Right.
but just the burden of a responsibility of being their support off of your shoulders, so you don't feel like you've abandoned your post.
Exactly.
I think that that's important. I think every parent feels that, and I think everyone who has someone that they love or care for, being an animal or what, they can relate to that. I think what's harder to relate to is what's different with a special needs kid. And in your case, you've only ever had this one experience. And so, can I ask, is there something that you would want families that don't share your experience to know?
Yes. I would like other people to know that it is difficult, and it's not an easy process, and to give us support and love and acceptance, and treat us like any other community member. And it's a struggle, and it's a blessing. I mean, I feel like now at this point in my life, Morgan's the biggest blessing that's ever happened to me. She's taught me so many things about life, like what's important.
Yeah.
But as far as what other people I would like them to know, is just to give us grace and to treat us like anybody else, and ask us to be involved in the community as well, because we want to be a part of the community, and we want to help, and we want to be treated like everybody else.
Do you think there were moments where that grace wasn't given?
There were times, yes.
Okay, without naming who and where and what, so we have a mob against them. Can you give us an example of when you felt like you weren't included? An example of exclusion or a particular time that you wish you would have gone a little bit differently?
I keep on bringing up the birthday parties. I guess that hurt me
Yeah, let's
more
talk
than
about the
Morgan.
birthday. Let's find out whose house.
I'm going to tell you
I'm
who
just
and where
kidding.
and when.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Honestly, little things like not being invited to a birthday party.
Wow.
Or, not being able to just do the normal things that typical normal kids were able to do that we weren't able to be included. Accommodations or and just seeing my nieces and nephews go on their sports teams and their proms and their science trips for school, or it was just Morgan had to miss out on certain activities that again were definitely more hurtful for me than they were for Morgan.
Because she didn't know.
She didn't care. She's just happy.
Yeah. I love that you've come here today with that spirit of inclusion and the idea that, life's sweeter when we're together. I don't know that that's as clear for a lot of the systems that we have in place. We separate our individuals, we put them in special groups, we don't include them in employment. If you could wave your magic wand, right, and change the world today, what does that look like for Morgan? And I really mean in the sense of her having more opportunity in the future, in your wildest dreams, the Morgan that you see today. What is it that you're hoping this world would be open to for her?
Giving her the opportunity to be the person that she is and having a place for her in the community.
Yeah.
And just being a part of everyday life and enjoying everything that everyone else does.
Wow. I want to make sure that we've left time for our guest, Mimi Giannini, to share anything that she has. But before I do, I think for me, I've heard you tell your story today, and it's been very clear that you do feel like you're on top of the mountaintop. But as we've had other guests come in and say, you can see the peak. There's still more to go.
Exactly.
And if I'm hearing you correctly, there is more as a society, systemically, that we can do that is encouraging inclusion. And so, Mimi, can you share with us for a moment what that looks like to you? What is the one thing that you want to leave our future selves with, the people who are going to watch this years from now, months from now, weeks from now? What is it that you want them to know?
I would like them to know that everybody's important and everybody has a gift to give back, and everybody's gift is different, and everybody's equal and deserves to be treated equally.
Mimi, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been amazing. We're going to have Morgan on the podcast, and we are excited to have Morgan join us. Thank you again for joining us again today, and as always, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.